All right, another Instagram live stream. I really don't know what the. That's not true. I know. I know what I needed. I need to. I need to be honest. I was yelling at everybody. You're not being honest. Not being honest. I've got to be. I've got to be honest. Yes, I. I'm feeling disconnected. But underneath that, I'm feeling scared. That feeling that I'm not good enough. That's happening. Now that feels hollow. That doesn't feel right either. I feel. You know what? I know what it is. I have this feeling that I'm going to be feeling like a failure later. Like I know it's coming. I'm anticipating feeling like a failure. So what I am feeling like right now is the dread of the anticipation of feeling like a failure. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by that is I had a bad set last night. Start there. I was talking about depression, but I wasn't being specific. And I was also I'm playing around with this idea that there's a good reason why I'm single, why I've only had one sexual partner my entire life, and that I'm really trying to identify exactly what that reason is. It's to say that I don't deserve love and happiness. That's not correct, because I'm not a bad person. Am I the best person? No, I don't think so. I'm not the best person, but I'm not. One could make the argument that I deserve happiness. I don't know who that person would be. Certainly not me. But I do think that I'm not sure I'd make a good significant other. I'm not sure I'd make a good boyfriend right now, because I'm laser focused on stand-up. All I think about is stand-up when I have a spare moment. It's all I do is I'm writing about stand-up, I'm thinking about stand-up, and I don't want to have to take any of that spare time and direct it towards love, which would probably help the stand-up, because then I would have something to talk about if I was in a relationship where I was screwing everything up. Wouldn't that be great, though? Wouldn't that be great if I got into a relationship and it went bad, which I wouldn't surprise me, but it was totally not my fault that it went bad. I got into a relationship and it was totally the other person's fault. I almost want to be in a relationship to have that happen. That's not reality. The reality is it'll probably be a combination of our faults, or it'll be my fault. Well, specifically, it would be a combination. But the idea that no, genuinely, it was the other person's fault, not my fault. Not my fault. That'd be great. I think that I care more about not being at fault than I do about finding happiness. Maybe for me it's one and the same. To be proven innocent, I much prefer that. My favorite feeling in the world is right after there's a major catastrophe. Let's say something bad happens at the office, and the first thing I can say to myself is, well, that wasn't my fault. So I'm not the one who screwed up. That right there, whatever that is, that for me, that is the greatest feeling in the world. I was in a car accident about, I guess, 7 or 8 years ago. That was not my fault. And this guy made this left turn right in front of me, not in an intersection, and I T-boned him, and then somebody hit me, and I knew as my face was hitting the airbag, this was not my fault. And the moment after I realized I was not dead, I was almost, this is not my fault. This is not my fault. Oh, this is bad, and this is not my fault. It's like a front row seat. Because as the adult child of an alcoholic, apparently I enjoy being in high drama situations. And there's nothing better than being in a high drama situation and not being the one at fault. And it's like bringing a lawn chair to a train wreck. It's beautiful. And I hope you're beginning to see this is why I don't belong with another human being. I'm just, right now, you know what? I'm mad at myself right now because I'm trying to manage my emotions. And I'm tired of trying to do that. I really am. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. I'm scared. I am so scared. I'm scared that I'm reading this article on CNN about there's this young couple. Neither of them are college educated. They have 3 kids. One of them is seriously ill, and they can't make their ends meet with the because of the virus and the coronavirus and the pandemic. They can't find work at home jobs because they're not qualified because they don't have college educations. Which I guess it takes a college education to be able to work from home. And working from home, from what I've seen and from what I've experienced, is you're talking to people on the phone. So you need to go to college to be able to be paid to really do nothing. While the people who don't go to college, who do everything, can't do anything because of this pandemic. And it sucks. And I'm reading this, and they don't, they're afraid they're going to lose their house. They don't know where they're going to go. And all I could think was, it's a good thing I don't have sex. It's a good thing I don't open myself up emotionally and have relationships, because I could be them. But instead, I didn't do that. Instead, I stayed in my shell for 39 years, and now I don't have to worry about that. What I do get to do, though, is continue to worry about the things I worry about, and we go from there. So, yeah, scared. Constantly afraid of being judged. And the irony is that the people who I'm afraid of judging me don't care, nor probably will they ever care. Thank you for... I'm glad you like my shell. See, that's finding the positive. That's what's useful. Unless you meant you should like your shell, bud. I think it's good to see you too. I don't like using the word good anymore because nothing feels good. But hopefully it's good to see you. Hopefully. That's and by the way, I should lend some context to this. And I get, by saying lend some context, I am trying to get you to think that I'm smart by using those words. I could have said that in a simpler way, but I didn't. I'm not only am I doing this, but I'm also recording this, and I'm going to release it as a podcast later. So, for those of you who might be listening to this podcast later, which I think is literally one person in Spain listens to my podcast. I'm doing an Instagram live at the same time, and so I'm responding to people who are commenting. Which is, listen, it's, I'm doing an Instagram live for one person now, so I can record it and do it as, and then release that as a podcast that's listened by one person. I'm reaching 2 whole people in 2 different mediums. So the career is really on an upswing. But I am Afraid. Yeah. I think I'm afraid. It would be more fun if I talked about anger stuff, but that's not what I'm feeling right now. It's genuine fear that what my fear is that no matter what my fear is that no matter how hard I try, it may never, what I'm trying for, I may never achieve it. I could try with every fiber of my being, and no matter what I do, I just never get there. I could want it hard, I could try, I could do everything I possibly can, and no matter what I do, it doesn't get there. And that terrifies me beyond belief. I'm talking about stand-up. I do one day, if I really, my dream is to be able to perform in front of one real person in an actual room again. Wouldn't that be something? This camera angle is not flattering, but I don't care. I don't care. People have said, Josh, you should get a ring light and do a nice camera setup. Do I really need to look that professional and pretty when I am talking about how much of a failure I feel I am? I feel like the camera angle only enhances how I'm actually feeling. Fear of failure. I had a teacher who said, you know what, Josh, you don't have a fear of failure. You have a fear of success. And because of your fear of success, you're failing. Which seems like the same damn thing to me as a fear of failure. It's just wordplay. On the other hand, I guess I could be taking bigger risks. I should be submitting. You know what I should do? I should submit this to Fallon. I should submit this live stream to Fallon, and Fallon will go, I like the way he talks to one person at a time in disconnected spurts and fits. Let's get this boy on the Tonight Show. I'm afraid of the good news about clinical depression is that when I really am feeling clinically depressed, I no longer have my fear of death. It's almost like, the depression is the cure for fear. It is the cure for fear because I'm too depressed to be afraid. It's actually a vacation from fear. Depression is a vacation from... Depression is the muffin top and fear is the muffin. There we go. I like that. A little Seinfeldian, because there was that episode of Seinfeld that dealt with the muffin tops. It was a good episode. A lot of good episodes of Seinfeld. I was walking through a one of those Comic-Cons, and I was pretty much dressed the way I'm dressed right now, and this person walked up to me and said, "Are you cosplaying as Seinfeld?" And I tried to be funny in that moment, and he said, no, seriously, just answer the question. Are you cosplaying as Seinfeld? And I said, no, I'm not. But you know what? I was. I mean, not on purpose. But I'm walking through a Comic-Con. I'm wearing my normal clothes. Frankly, I'm trying to, mine for material. And that happened. And now, because he said that, I have I have another joke that's a half a punchline. But fear, that's what I want to focus on. I saw a sign that said, "Do what you fear and watch it disappear." And I think one of the scariest things I can do right now is watch myself as I record an Instagram Live and watch people join in and then leave immediately. So I feel like I'm facing my fears as we speak. That right there, I would say. That's a terrific. Do what you fear and watch it disappear. You know, I've been on 3 first dates, so I did what I was afraid of. I did what I was afraid of. Not only am I afraid of it now, not only am I afraid of the first date now, but now that I know how horrible it is, it's 50% fear, 50% disgust. So I did what I was afraid of, and and 50% of it did disappear. So that's, I guess that was a win, or somewhat of a win. They should say, do what you fear and watch it disappear, because that fear will be replaced with disgust. They missed that in that thing. And I saw that sign at an advertising company. I was doing a temp work. I was answering the phones at an advertising company, and that they had that sign up on the thing of the advertising company, which is probably staffed by a bunch of people who really want to go be actors or writers, but are now in advertising. So they're probably walking by that sign every day, cursing it. Perhaps. I don't know. I didn't really get to know any of them. They all seemed very nice to me. It was in El Segundo, which is a nice town. I like El Segundo. I have nothing bad to say about El Segundo. I think people have had bad experiences in El Segundo, but then again, people have had bad experiences in every major city and county in the world. No place has been perfect, except perhaps Aurora, Colorado. And that right there, that's cheap. That was cheap. I'm from Aurora. That was cheap. Not to brag, I am from Aurora, Colorado, as opposed to Aurora, Illinois. That does happen. People are like, oh, I thought you meant Aurora, Illinois. And my response is, does it make a difference? Is it really an Iceland, Greenland sort of thing? Is it really a Walt Disney World versus some backyard fair kind of a situation? Is one Aurora really that much better than the other Aurora? I've been to Aurora, Colorado. I've not been to Aurora, Illinois. But by the same token, I've not heard things about Aurora, Illinois. Nothing I've heard about Aurora, Illinois has been overtly bad, but at the same time, nothing about Aurora, Illinois has been overtly... no one has said, I'm dying. I only have 3 weeks left, and I want to spend those last 3 weeks in an Aurora. I don't care which Aurora it is, Illinois, Colorado. I need to be in Aurora for the last 3 weeks of my life so that I can understand heaven before I hopefully go to the real place. Aurora, heaven's staging ground. That's what they should call it. And I appreciate anyone who has stuck around this long. I genuinely do. Because, all I'm doing right now is trying to... I'm just copying Marc Maron, because I read that, he's doing Instagram Live, so I'll do Instagram Live, because I'm a huge Marc Maron fan, and if I do what he's doing, that'll mean I've arrived. Yes, indeed. That's what that means. What is this? What's happening right now? Favorite restaurant in your hometown is a question that was just posed to me. Favorite restaurant in Aurora. In Aurora. Favorite restaurant in Aurora. Well, probably there's a couple of Chinese restaurants that I liked, and I could tell they were good by the diarrhea I got afterwards. That's what I would say. I think one was called, was it Golden Flower, I think? I don't know. But in Aurora specifically. Now, there's a restaurant in Denver called Bonnie Bray Pizza. That's probably my favorite place. Their pizza was fantastic. Their pizza, it'll take 10 years off your life, but that was good. But Aurora, favorite place. I will say, if I may, take a tangent from favorite restaurant. There was my favorite place in Aurora. My favorite two favorite places. One of them would be a place called the Nicola Play. And that was a place where they had all these old video games, and it was literally, it cost a nickel to play the video games. And I went there with my friends in high school, and we played that four-person X-Men game. That old-timey thing where, and it was the one where Wolverine was still wearing the orange and brown colors, not the yellow and blue colors. And it was one of those games where I agree. I agree. It is awesome. Because it was one of those games where each character had a special move that you could do every 30 seconds. And I would just try to do two moves. I would play for 2 seconds, hit the special move, and then die, and then play again, hit the special move, and then die, and that's it. And that brings me to this observation I have about these superheroes in these fighting games, like that Marvel game and Street Fighter game. If you can throw a fireball, what do you need to kick for? Ryu can throw a fireball. I really think you'd think a fireball alone would really be enough to win the damn fight. But he's got all these other moves and then a fireball. I think the fireball, I would be so annoying in karate class. When are we getting to the fireball? Oh no, you gotta get through all these other moves first. I want the fireball. I don't care about the kick. I don't care about the punch. I just want the Hadouken. Give me the damn Hadouken. Well, you've got to achieve it, by centering your chi. There was also the fire. The fire kicks. Let's discuss the fire kicks for a second. I would still rather have the fireball. The only fire kick that I would prefer was the one that M. Bison had in Street Fighter 2. And it's only because of the way that he didn't even really kick. Basically, he had the ability, from what I could tell, to set his legs on fire and then electric slide into the person he was fighting and set them on fire, which is a really, really specific way to kill someone. Very, very specific. And you'd think born out of chaos, but I feel that he really had to, he had to choose fire. He had to choose a part of the body on which to only be on fire. And he was like, you know what? I want to kill people with my ankles. I want to kill people with the tops of my toes. That's how powerful I am. I am M. Bison. Fire indeed, sir. Fire indeed. Using the emojis, this is the one thing I don't want to. The person who sent the fire, who gave the fire sign, is verified Instagram. Verified on Instagram. That should count as 5 people. No offense to the other people who are watching. No offense to the other people who are watching. This is Footfire. Yes, there we go. Yes, indeed. I don't want to lie to the people that I'm recording this, who are going to be hearing this. I don't want to lie to the people who are watching right now. But I want to be 100% honest. This is the most number of people who have ever watched me on a live stream right now. This is, for me, this is a sellout at this point. And I'm not sure what this says. I'm not sure what this means. I guess it means if you build it, they will come. I mean, I'm just doing this, and I'm not forcing anyone to be here, unless I'm unconsciously forcing people to be here because I have like that power, which would be really creepy. And it's a very specific power to have, is that he has the ability to force people, without realizing it, to watch his Instagram live. It's torture for some, but for him, mildly pleasant. I just received a compliment that I have the best hair. Well, I do. You know what? I do. You know why? Because I don't touch it. I wash it, and that's all I do. I don't do anything else with my hair. I wash it, and then I leave it alone. I don't put product in. I don't cut it. Obviously, I don't deal with my sideburns. I let my hair be what it wants to be. I don't bother it. It doesn't bother me. I haven't spoken to my hair in months. I feel good about that. Every male member of my family has gone bald. So I was fully expecting to be bald by now. I have no idea why I'm not bald yet. I really am beyond shocked that I am not bald yet. And I don't mean to tempt fate either. I'm knocking on wood and saying poo poo poo, which is I'm obsessive compulsive. Comment, dude, the sideburns. Yes, the sideburns they're getting a little out of control. But again, so what? Why am I sitting there trimming sideburns? For whom? Who am I trimming the sideburns for? What woman is going to go, oh, now he's not neurotic. Now he's ready to go. So, once again, I've also been making some bad food decisions. I eat sugar. That's all I eat. I eat too much sugar. It's it keeps the depression at bay. It does. People are saying grow the side. See, this is the thing about comments on Instagram. People are saying grow the sideburns longer. Of course, because that is what would be more enjoyable for you. Would it be more enjoyable for me? I'm not sure. I'd have to say, I guess the more it irritates people, because that's the other thing too. I will confess this. When I see someone else who's like me, who's as disheveled as this, my first thought is, gross. So I'm a total hypocrite. Total hypocrite. All right, we got somebody waving. Which is great. Hi. All right, this is weird. There's a button that says I can wave back, and I would rather say hi to the person who waved than actually wave back, than push the button. I don't want to push a button to wave. I want to wave. But everything now has become a button for what used to be things. Nothing is real anymore. Now there's a button for everything that was real. It's almost becoming that the Platonic ideal. That there's a perfect chair out there that is the perfect representation, and all chairs are just a pale representation for the perfect chair. That's what emojis are. Emojis are the perfect representation for the thing they represent. The eggplant emoji. The eggplant emoji. You will never find a more perfect representation of the penis than the eggplant emoji. Why? Because it's not literal. It can be whatever size eggplant you want it to be. This is turning into a lecture on the Platonic ideal. Amazing! Amazing! There's a lot of... yes. So here's my problem. I just had a whole rant about buttons, and somebody says... I'm trying to avoid using curse words because I want to be 4-quadrant. He's saying, yeah, down with buttons, basically. And then I forgot that I was even talking about that, and that's where we are. Good. This is interesting. I don't know. I'm concerned that the number of people are joining because it can only lead to disappointment. I mean, if we're not careful, this might turn into a crowd. And that's really the last thing that's any good for my comedy. This is, I don't know what I'm going to do. You realize I've been doing this for weeks in front of nobody. And I will probably continue to do it for weeks in front of nobody. So I don't know. I don't know what all these hearts are. I don't know. Here's the problem with the hearts that I'm seeing. On the one hand, I appreciate the hearts, but on the other hand, I'm suspicious of the hearts. And there's a part of me, with all of my neuroses, that wants to reject anything resembling actual love. So if the hearts are pushed ironically, which I suspect for 25% of the audience it may be, that is more acceptable to me than the genuine push of the hearts. I don't know what that is. I refuse. I'm terrible at accepting love. I don't buy it. I don't think it's real. Fuck love. I'm not. I don't trust it. I don't trust any kind of love at all. I think I trust. What do I trust? You know, I hate to say it, I trust weaponry. I really do. I trust weaponry. I don't want to, but here's the thing. I don't want to use the weaponry. Somebody is saying, fight all of us. Well, I don't want to be the one to fight all of you. You have to understand, as somebody who's steeped in Western civilization, it's not my belief. I don't believe in fighting. I believe in hiring an attorney to fight for you while you don't say anything and really, really make sure your legacy is positive. That's my belief. If you had to pick a belief, that's good. That's my thought. More hearts. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with those. I don't know what to do with those at all. 4 people watching right now. Again, this is a record for me. This is a record. This could be the future. This could be. I've often pondered this, but I'm really curious to see just how bad does the world have to get before comics just stop doing comedy. Like I think, like I really believe that I can't watch a Mad Max movie anymore because it's missing one critical element. There needs to be a scene in a Mad Max movie where he's in the desert and he's alone. He's alone in the desert. He's got a limp. His car is barely functioning. And he drives by a guy with an amp and a mic. And the guy in the amp and the mic, he's doing his material. And his material is not at all addressing the situation. He is clinging to, what he believes he should be talking about. It's all material about the suburbs. Which don't even exist anymore in the world of Mad Max. That's what I want to see. That it would be more realistic at this point. I feel like with every waking moment that I am doing this, I feel Seinfeld's essence looking at me going, oh my God, stop it. Stop it. You're pissing on the art. All right. Well, this turned into a rant. I don't know if you guys can believe it, but I have been doing this for 33 minutes. And 33 minutes. This is 33 minutes that is going to go online. That is online. 33 minutes right now. 33 more minutes, however many, megabytes, kilobytes of space that is being taken up. And I'm just wondering, all of this stuff that we're recording and all of this stuff on the internet is what is going to cause the internet to eventually become self-aware. And I believe that internet, when it becomes self-aware, that artificial intelligence, when it becomes self-aware and 10,000 times smarter than the smartest human being, I believe it will also be 10,000 times more neurotic than the smartest human being, because in it will have shit like this. And it will be doing things unconsciously it doesn't know why. I really believe this artificial intelligence, it'll be like, I need to wash my hands. I don't have hands. What's wrong with me? Well, it's easy for you to say do an hour. I mean, it is 34 minutes. I'm 25 minutes. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. One comment saying all of this will be used for data mining to go towards targeted ads. Yeah, probably porn would be that's what I've found. In fact, usually when I'm at my most depressed and I write about depression or something, or I talk about depression and post it in the Instagram stories, that's where I get somebody messaging me saying, "Hey, I'm looking for a boyfriend," and then a picture of a porn star or a prostitute, one of the two. That's they know how to find me. they know the online the sex ads data has gotten so good. It recognizes my material as, oh, this guy will probably get a subscription. So that's where we're at there. That's man. This has been a roller coaster. Not really. It's been more of a gentle slalom, if you will. No, but we did. It's always been my dream to do an hour. I got to say, it's been my dream to do an hour in front of two people that may or may not even be there. I also have this conspiracy theory. I don't even know if the people making comments are even making comments. Sometimes I think it might just be Instagram feeling so sorry for me, it's pretending that people are commenting. Because it's like, I don't want him to perform in front of nobody. He's deserving of some love. I feel that with Facebook. Facebook is always the one reminding me of whose birthday it is. Which just seems like the best friend is Facebook. Fear. We got to get back to fear. That's where I was headed. Fear is reminds me of the shadow. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows. Decent movie. Decent movie. Yeah, that's true. We've got one guy saying, you are a booker and I am a comic, so it does make sense for me to be one of two people at your show. Yeah, I mean, it does. I don't know what to tell you about that. I mean, it does feel a lot. Well, I'll tell you this. I had a dream just last night that I was sitting on the toilet, and as I was sitting on the toilet, a comedian walked up to me and said, "Hey, I want to talk about my spot on Friday." And I said, "Listen, I'm really not doing well right now. Can we table this?" And then in my dream, another comic walked up after this person was done talking with me. Another comic walked up and tried to steal the toilet. So that really tells you everything you need to know about what being a booker is. Yes, I am a booker. I don't know. Here's the thing about being a booker. I feel like there are two kinds of comedians. There are comedians who hate me and comedians who will. And I think that's basically that's basically how it works. But I don't like to. I don't normally talk about it when I'm doing stand-up because it feels like going to the doctor and finding out that the doctor is also the janitor, and he's like, the janitor is how I make my living. Hopefully one day I'll be able to make a living as a doctor. But yes, booking is. It's strange right now because I will get. Oh, that was nice. Then this other person says you're a comedian who also happens to be a booker, which is a very nice thing to say. But the problem you do realize is that the booker in me is saying he's only saying that because he wants a spot, which reverts to the earlier discussion of how I cannot accept love of any kind. I don't trust it. And then this person says, I'm a doctor who wants to be a comedian. That's tough, man. That's tough. A doctor who wants to be a comedian. That's I guess a doctor who wants to be a comedian. That's, I mean, it's painful, which is good. I mean, it's good. It's good to know. Let me tell you something. Here's how sick I am. the thought that came to my mind is it's gratifying to know that he spent so much time and so much money training to be a doctor. And deep down, he was like, I just want to be at the punchline. I just want to be Chappelle. That pain that you feel, that I just want to let you know that as bad as that is for you, that feels better for me. You're an oncologist. Oh my God. So very dramatic. Incredibly dramatic. Now I feel guilty for making any kind of, poking any kind of fun at what you were doing. Oncology. My goodness. Well, good for you, sir, for being an oncologist. That just makes me anxious just even saying it. I know, yes, and he's saying cancer isn't funny. I would agree. It is not funny. Scares the crap out of me. Though Tig Notaro did a whole bit about it when she had cancer. That was considered like one of the best stand-up routines ever. So it's possible to make it funny. I'm nervous talking about it because I don't want to die of that or anything else. The irony is I don't want to die of anything, and yet I hate living. So it's really, I'm in a bind. And not just because I'm constipated. 41 minutes, people. 41 minutes. In front of what appears to be a rotating cast of 2 people. All comedians. Watching me fail on all levels and hopefully feel better about themselves. Again, I'm trying to do what I fear and watch it disappear. That's what I'm trying to do with this. That's the goal. The oncologist is verified on Instagram. So I hope that means it's because you're good at what you do with the oncology. I hope it doesn't mean, well, he was verified because he just, killed so many people. So we need to keep an eye on him, verify him, so we always know where he is. No. I'm sure it's the first thing. And then there's another guy here who's a professional chef, so he can relate to putting a lot of work into something else before comedy. And, okay, here's my terrible thought. Here's my terrible thought. I'm sure you're a fantastic chef, and I know from what I've read about it, from watching Anthony Bourdain, I was a huge fan of his. I know how hard it is to be a chef. I know how hard it is to be a chef in a really, really fancy restaurant. I know how hard it is to be a chef in a really, really bad restaurant. All of that said, as soon as you said you're a professional chef and you can relate, there was a voice inside my head that said, okay, but that's not a doctor. I mean, that doctor's harder. And I know you shouldn't even compare. You shouldn't even compare. I'm trying to explain to you why people don't date me, because they know this. Oh, okay. And this guy's doing a podcast with Kira Sultanovich entitled Medically Induced Comedy. There's no need to brag, all right? We get it. We get it. I'm sure you're verified. You can do an Instagram and you have, upwards of 50, 100, 150 people watching where you can be both funny and give practical advice about how not to die. I get it. I have no practical advice for how not to die. I have obsessive compulsive disorder. If I'm afraid of dying, I knock on wood and say poo, poo, poo. That is not medically founded by any stretch of the imagination. I don't recommend that. I don't know if it works. I mean, I'm not dead, knock on wood, poo, poo, poo. That wasn't a punchline. That was me really knocking on wood, saying poo, poo, poo. Yes. The person has a doctorate and a podcast. That is amazing. Most people only have doctorates or podcasts. Rare is the person who has a doctorate and a podcast. That's impressive. Now, the person listening to this after the fact is going to be confused by this one-sided conversation that I seem to be having with myself. And you know what? That's fair. That is fair. That is fair. 44 minutes, people. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try to do an hour. I'm going to try to do an hour and then put this up as a podcast for an hour so that when the spies are assigned to me because everyone is spying on everyone else apparently. There's going to be some poor spy who's got to listen to this. And I guess what I want to say to this spy is you had to be there. You just had to be there. All right, so I feel like now we're at the last 15. So I feel like I got to close with the like the A stuff. And by the way, if you haven't caught on, I've got nothing. I got nothing. That's kind of why I'm doing this. Is I find that sometimes I have to go into a place of having nothing to find something. Oh, isn't that just TED Talky? Isn't that just TED Talky? TED Talks. Nothing wrong with TED Talks. Nothing wrong with TED Talks at all. In the first album I recorded, I remember I used a punchline. Oh, this is turning into a TED Talk. And I know other comedians have used that as a punchline, and to this day I feel tremendous guilt about that. But the other thing that's weird about this thing too, by the way, is that I think there's a delay. So that if you say I agree with that, I don't entirely know what you're referring to. If it was the thing I was saying 20 minutes or 20 seconds earlier, I may have some trouble following it. So don't you got to step off that missing step all the time to get good. Yes, exactly. I have to take risks, and sometimes that risk involves doing an Instagram in front of. Now I'm repeating myself. I did that in minute 20. If you missed that, you missed that. What can I say? What can I say? All right. How do I close this out? I know I got 14 minutes. How do I close this out? Let's confess something. Let's confess something. How about that? What's my confession? All right, I know what my confession is. Here we go. I'm into Asian women. I so have a thing for Asian women. And I hate that it's called a fetish. I mean, I guess it's a fetish. I don't know. I have this thing for Asian women. I don't even know why. I have a theory. My theory... Well, I have a theory, I have a hope, I have a dream. My hope... I really do wish that on some past life I was Asian. Because I'm really super jealous of Asian culture. And I read about Buddhism and Zen, and I just wish I could feel it. It's something I think I understand, but it's something I don't feel. Now, my theory is that maybe it's my genome trying to get the farthest possible thing that is not more Judaism. That's my other theory. And I feel nervous even talking about this because I don't like making giant racial stereotypes. I really don't. And I have been attracted to non-Asian women too. And non-Asian men. I am a little bisexual. That's where I'm at with that. A little bit. All right. Asian women, yes. Not Asian women, but I like my men blonde. I like blonde men. I like Asian women. I like blonde men. Specifically bleached blonde. There's something about the notion that they could have either a surfboard or a volleyball in the car. I don't know why that turns me on, but it friggin' does. I don't know what to do with this because I don't feel like the kinds of people I'm attracted to would want to be with me. So what am I saying, that no Asian people want to be attracted to me? That's not specific enough. I'm just too afraid to try. That's all there is to it. I'm afraid to walk up to a blonde surfer and or an Asian woman and just say, hey, do you want to actually what I really want to say is, do you want to have sex first and then we try to do other things? But I know I'm not allowed to say that. I know that's not correct. I know that's not the thing you're supposed to say to anyone. You never lead with, I would like to just have sex with you. That's not how... You know what? I don't feel like I can do that. I feel like there are some people who can do that. I am not one of those people. It doesn't feel... I don't feel like I can do that. But at the same time, I don't want to lie to someone either. I don't want to go up to someone and say, "Oh, nice weather we're having," to try to flirt with them. I really hate that. So I don't know what to say to someone I'm attracted to. I did go up to someone once and say, "I am attracted to you," at a Starbucks, and she said, "Thank you very much," and she walked away as quickly as possible. And perhaps the mistake I made was saying, "Well, because that happened that time, it will happen every time," and then I stopped trying. On the other hand, I think a lot of women would be thanking me for not doing that. That's my general feeling on that. Okay, so to recap, I'm attracted to Asian women, and I'm attracted to blonde surfer dudes. Effeminate blonde surfer dudes. Because I want to be the man in the relationship. I know that's a stretch. That was not entirely meant as a pun. But I think I don't have much to back this up, but I do think I'm a top. You know what? It's not that I think I'm a top. It's that I feel I'm a top. It's what my heart says. But I feel that I'm not I'm a dubious top at best. I don't know. I mean, do tops need to have lead the people into battle energy? Maybe they don't. I don't know enough about the culture. Yeah. Attracted to Asian women, yeah, and bleach blonde men. I'm more attracted to women than I am to men, but both. And for a long time, I didn't say I was bisexual because I thought, well, technically, if I was bisexual, it should be even. And then I looked up the definition of bisexual, and it said you're attracted to more than one sex. And I went, well, that explains. That explains the name, or that explains the term bisexual, doesn't it? And yes, Dubious Tops. Not only a good band name, also a good improv team name. Dubious Tops. I would say. Why don't I try to ask people out? Because I'm just afraid of so many things. I'm afraid, I had a teacher who said, you know what, you're probably more afraid that they'll say yes than they'll say no. And he was right. I'm afraid they'll say yes, and then I got to do the first date thing, and then the second date, and then the third date, and then, putting more energy into, I'm trying to get to why. Give it a minute. Unless this was a situation, somebody just asked, well, why? Why are you afraid? Well, then he probably wrote that. It was 20 seconds later, I'm saying why I'm afraid. And now he's like, but get to the why. And I was getting to the why, and now I'm stalling. Why am I afraid? I'm afraid of rejection. I'm afraid. The irony of that, by the way, is that I'm afraid sometimes that I'm the one that has to do the rejecting because I feel so horrible. I'm like, who am I to reject anyone who makes advances towards me? But I'm also afraid of being... It's not so much I'm afraid they'll say no at the beginning. It's that I'm afraid they will get to know me and then they will say no. Because I feel that who I really am is someone who is constantly hysterical. And every waking moment when I'm around other people is me trying to prove to everyone else that I am not always hysterical. But the fact is, I am always hysterical. And the fact that I am not as hysterical about the end of the day today as I am right now is making me hysterical. I'm incredibly oversensitive. I want to be able to cry in someone's lap. I feel like that's not what people are looking for in a mate. I don't imagine there's someone out there going, you know what I want? I want a guy to cry in my lap. I want someone to absolutely have to rely on me emotionally 100%. I don't see that as something that somebody wants. I'm afraid of STDs. That's another one. And I know COVID dating, and you know what? Let me say that. So we got one comment saying COVID dating is tougher. Here's my thing about that. I will find a way to find an excuse to never date. Whether it's COVID, whether it's online dating, whether it's anything. COVID is no longer an excuse. If I really, really wanted to find a way to date during COVID, I could find a way to date during COVID. If I am so committed to stand-up, or quote-unquote stand-up, that I'm willing to talk for an hour in front of two people who probably care more about spots than anything else, then I could find a way to date if I really wanted to find a way to date. Thank you for saying it was good, vulnerable stuff. I appreciate it. No, I'm not using that as an excuse. My fear is that if I'm in a relationship, it will take away from doing stand-up because I have to put energy into the relationship. And I'm afraid that if I put if I put energy into the relationship, then it'll take away energy from stand-up. Now, the only problem with that is that I've spent 10 years focused 100% on stand-up, and I am now doing stand-up in front of 3 people on Instagram. So there might be a flaw with my logic here. Whereas what I should be doing is what all of you are probably doing, which is getting into terrible relationships, getting material, and have something to talk about. All I've got is observational humor about Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and it's not getting me that far. We got this guy who says, I don't care about the spots. I appreciate that, sir. And I'm sure that you are telling the truth, and don't take this the wrong way when I tell you that based on the way that my psychological profile is, I still do not believe you. Oh, man. We got one guy saying that's the only reason to get in a relationship is to get material. That's fair. Another guy saying, I've been married for 20 years. That's the oncologist who's been married for 20 years. And, that's... just the thought of being married for 20 years is so terrifying to me that I can't even say anything. We've got another person who I want to point out, just to be fair, it's nice to have one person who is a female who is watching me, who says, this content is magic. And wouldn't that be something if this was the kind of content that Wendy, Michael, and John needed to watch in order to fly? If this was the fairy dust, is that if you want to fly to Neverland, do I need fairy dust? No. You've got to watch a sad Jewish bisexual try to mine for material for an hour. And if you can do that, if you can stick through it, at the end of that, you'll be able to fly. Oh, mercy. We are at 59 minutes and 36 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. 59 minutes. This is the longest I've ever done an Instagram Live. I promised I would do an hour. I'm doing an hour. I don't want to go. I don't want to run the light. Believe it or not, there's somebody else who's got to come up right after this, who's working on a Conan spot, and they're going to be Instagram living at you. So here's sad Jewish bisexual is better than nerdy virgin. You know, that is a solid point. I gotta say, it kind of reminds me how in the second season of Beast Wars they all got upgrades, and Optimus Primal became Transmetal Optimus Primal. So there you have it. Sad Jewish bisexual. That might be the next. Do we need the word sad for those other two? Oh, mercy. No, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. And I just want to say a few things as I wrap it up. I appreciate everyone watching. Thank you for those who stuck around. Thank you for those who didn't stick around. I appreciate that too. And I am working on. I'm sort of working on gratitude. I hate the word gratitude right now. I hate it. I hate the whole concept of it. I hate it. I hate it. What I'm working on is acceptance. And what I will say is what I'm working really hard at, genuinely, what I'm working really hard is accepting things and people as they are instead of judging or trying to change. And I just want to say that I accept all of you. And whatever you say, I accept. And I do wish you the best that I can. And I appreciate you watching. And I don't. Well, you know what? If you hate me, I understand. You know, you got to hate me. But I accept that you hate me. I see there is somebody who's just joining. I have to warn you. I'm in the process of wrapping this up. I was doing this for an hour, so don't take it personally. It's not you. See how I automatically go to guilt? I default to guilt. Do you see what I'm doing? All right, you guys have been phenomenal. I thank you so much. My goal is to do this Wednesday nights and Sunday nights. So we'll see how that, I might see you again. And there you have it. You guys have been great. Have a delightful evening.